First Gen Wealth, we talk about an entrepreneur's journey to creating wealth. I've got a lot of friends, a lot of colleagues, a lot of peers that they're brought up with money and the ability to handle and figure that out. Finding dollars has always been easy. Finding a deal, making money, I can do that. What to do with it to make it continue to earn so we do have that generational wealth, that's the missing piece. We want our money that we've earned through blood, sweat, and tears to now go to work for us. So that money is making money while we're sleeping. Hello, welcome to First Gen Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Woodworth. This is episode number 8. Joining me today is somebody that I'm very close with. I've been in the real estate game now for a little while. He actually works for Woodworth Commercial, the company that we all work for here in this building. And Leo is going to tell us a little bit about his story, but he's been with me now for 4 years, 5,
6 now, close to
6 years,
5 at least.
Wow, yeah. So Leo he's right next door to me, so we get a lot of interaction together, and has recently started diving into the investment game, the investment real estate game. So not just brokering deals, but buying some stuff for himself. I'll let you tell a little bit about that, but yeah, Leo, why don't you? Because your path here and kind of the last few years have been pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, Leo's first ever podcast ever anywhere.
True. Never been on camera.
Yeah. Well, we know better because we saw you dancing on your leasing update here a couple weeks ago. But anyway, Leo, why don't you share how we got connected through your dad, but tell that story, and then, how you've evolved kind of through your various in and out at Woodworth Commercial and now permanently back in. So go ahead and give us that breakdown real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I actually went to college for engineering, studied that for a number of years and was working in the field for a number of years. And man, I honestly was hating it. So I went all over back and forth trying to figure out what my next step was, because I was literally dreading going to work in the morning. And just, I was working down in Novi, the corporate hierarchy, sitting in a cubicle, really not loving it. You know,
it's not bad for some people, but
right.
not for us.
Not for me. So I was talking to my dad and told him kind of my investment strategy. We're talking long term. And I said, really, the great wealth equalizer that I've been studying is real estate. And long term, I would like to get into real estate. I don't know much about it. And my dad instantly was like, let's get you in touch with Randy. So I think the next golf outing that we were playing in or something, I met you. And then that following Monday, you were like, get in my office, let's talk.
Yeah. So your dad, Jeff Deason, he was the CEO at the Chamber of Commerce here locally at that time. And he said, he said, make sure he finishes school though. I didn't do that job.
No.
You got one semester left, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't. Yeah. Yeah,
never looked back.
Yeah, never looked back. So anyway, go ahead.
it took me about 6 months in the industry to realize that I never want to go back.
Sure.
So
yeah,
went through that, met you. I think it was a Monday afternoon, and then the following Monday I had my real estate license and we were off to the races. And
awesome.
Ever since then, it was a up and down curve of learning the trade, in Randy's office every day, asking him questions for, I'm sure, far too long, and still.
Oh, no.
But yeah, good. we've progressed from then.
Yeah. So Leo, you were originally, and this is the case for a lot of real estate firms, new agents go on a draw, which is basically they're getting an advance on the commissions for the deals that they're going to do. And I think after about a year and a half, your first year and a half, I said, all right, well, you're going to be off the draw after the first of the year. And you freaking panicked.
I did.
And took on left for a little, you took a little sabbatical.
Yeah, that was also right in the COVID era. Yeah. So it was kind of I was not that confident in my own abilities at this point. I'd been a year.
I think
and a half
I was
in.
more confident than you were. I know, and rightfully so, because you're proving it now. But go on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't that I was unable to make deals and stuff, but I just wasn't 100% confident in my ability to provide for my family the way that I needed to. And it was right around the COVID time that this started hitting, and I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't like I was this 10-year veteran. This is like COVID was starting, and I was like scrambling. I don't know what I'm going to do. I worked in the emergency services field, so I was at the fire department and got my EMT license, things like that, and ended up working for a short stint over at Shiawassee Dispatch, doing 911 dispatch, just kind of
Renaissance man, this guy, I tell you.
I was moving around.
You got he's a firefighter, volunteer firefighter, EMS, fully trained emergency responder, licensed FAA drone pilot, right?
Yep.
What else you got? I mean, do we know underwater basket weaving?
Yeah.
No,
things. I'm gonna.
You're a smart guy, and I mean that's the engineer in you, right? So you can tackle anything. You know, in order to use drone photos in the commercial space, you're supposed to use a licensed pilot. Not everyone does, but we try to adhere to all the red tape around here. But I challenge you to go get it, and dude, you grab some book the size of a huge thing, and he just read it and then took the test and passed the test. I mean, it was like, and now you're a pilot.
Yep, pilot.
Pretty amazing. It's like that, like the guys that passed the bar but never went to law school. You could probably figure that out too. But
a lot of maps.
Yeah,
a lot of maps to figure out. But
so here we are. You're back. You came back as kind of like my assistant. So you've got something that's a kind of a paycheck, your bonus through that as well. But you're getting close to kind of like having that confidence now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm right there now. Really, my goal was to build up my own portfolio enough to where I'd feel 100% comfortable. And was getting the girlfriend through school, things like that. Had to keep the consistency for the meantime.
Sure.
But for right now, yeah, I'm getting there. Now I finally caught my groove. I'm confident in what I'm doing. I think it took a lot of pushing from you for me to get my own investments going.
Sure.
And in getting those going, now that I've found success and I really have proved to myself I know what I'm doing. When I'm selling somebody, there's a certain amount of confidence when you also have what you're selling, right?
Sure.
There's a ton of information that I would have never had not owning a property. So
you can speak the language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know the problems they're going to deal with. I know, what an early investor, I've got 6 properties now.
Six
properties.
Okay.
I bought my first one 2.5 years ago. All of them are doing successful despite many hiccups, but
we're not going to talk about sewer problems today.
Yeah. Sewers hurt.
Yeah.
That's touchy subject, but
it's all right. You got through it, man.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's still a good buy.
6 buildings. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. All of these are in some sort of partnership, right?
Yes. So I'm a heavy believer in partnerships. Working with the people that you like is the most important thing in life,
Sure.
right? You want to enjoy who's calling you. You want to enjoy who you're talking with and working with. So my partnerships range. I've got another close partner, Joe Dinsdale.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of our deals together, and frankly, we have the same mindset, the same thinking. A younger group of guys that are all looking at this long term.
Yeah, because you're going out and syndicating and finding some dollars for investment and things of that nature, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So a lot of the deals that I do are very little out of my own pocket, but
that's awesome. I talked about that in episode 6, and that's how I got going myself. Was you bring the deal, you bring the knowledge, you bring the know-how, and a plan, an action plan to make real estate successful, make it productive. So, you shouldn't invest in real estate because you think it's going to increase in value. You should invest in real estate because you can add value.
Right.
And that's something I think over the course of the last couple of years, you've truly turned a corner on. And now you've got your investor hat and your broker hat going, because as the broker, that's where you can bring deals. You can find tenants. You can, flush out some of that stuff. So talk about how many because you're a partner with me on one of those deals, and that's a self-storage, right?
Yep.
So that's like 180 tenants. So,
right.
So set that one aside. How many tenants do you have that you're dealing with on the other 5 properties?
16.
16 tenants.
Yep.
That's awesome. And that's a range. You've got a duplex in there. You've got
duplex, multiple mixed-use buildings, triplex. They're all similar, but pretty what I would consider is very stable investments.
Yeah.
They've got the commercial aspect, they've got the residential, they're in strong markets.
Yeah, the
Owasso
mixed
being
use.
one of them.
We love that mixed use building. The mixed use asset class. So when he says mixed use, what we're talking about is commercial first floor. It's a typical downtown building. You've got or pretty much any downtown anywhere. But anyway, commercial on the first floor. So be it office, be it retail, whatever. So some sort of commercial rental element on the first floor, and then housing apartments is what you've got on the second floor, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So now you've got one of those. You've got two buildings next door that are mixed use, right? And one of them that one was the sewer problem, but you've got four
Right.
apartments in that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good tenant down below,
Yes.
right? So you bought that building with a tenant,
Yes.
then lost the tenant.
Immediately lost that tenant.
But how long did it take you to find another one?
2 months.
That's the broker hat. That's what you.
Right.
That's why your partners were willing to enter into an agreement with you coming to the deal with no money out of pocket, because they're relying on you to find that next tenant. You
Right.
did. You delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. And
And in buying that building, when I purchased that building, there was 2 residential tenants upstairs and only 1 commercial tenant downstairs. So I've brought, in that amount of time, I've owned that 2 years, 3 new residential tenants and filled both commercial spaces.
that's awesome.
So it was bought at a steal of a deal.
Yep.
It was, but now the increase in value is great.
Well, you did that.
Yeah.
You added
made it
that.
happen.
Yeah. And then the other building, are you guys still looking at doing some sort of grant process there?
Yes, that's going to be probably this year's turnaround. So we're looking at potentially selling. These 2 buildings are right next door to each other. One is commercial, 4 apartments upstairs. The other is commercial with 2 vacant floors. They used to be apartments probably back in the 50s, but
Sure.
for the vast majority it's vacant. It's torn to pieces. So we're going to be pursuing that grant process. What we're debating now is selling the right hand asset so that it completely funds the redevelopment of the left hand asset. I don't know.
So the right hand asset,
Yeah.
the one that has 4 apartments,
Right.
cash flows.
Yes.
You want to sell that?
Maybe not.
So
So our vision of it is that if we bought both buildings under one contract, we paid $30 a square foot.
Yep.
In paying $30 a square foot, after filling the right building and getting it cash flowing, we now value it at almost $55
Sure.
a square foot. So in selling that building, it would leave us with a completely free and clear asset that
And
either
some
we can leverage
capital.
and capital to be able to pay for the redevelopment.
Might make sense.
It almost makes sense. I'm of the mentality that long-term hold. I don't like selling anything unless it really makes a ton of sense. But
Well, if you can own the other one free and clear and pay for the gap of the grant dollars and have all new apartments that are free and clear,
right,
it's going to cash flow even more than the other one did.
right,
So we'll have
And
to
it-
pencil that out. I don't know.
yeah.
Because-
Well, I'm going to be leaning on you hard for that one.
Yeah.
Don't,
So
don't worry. So
it is a struggle. Do you buy or do you hold? Do you sell? And I've always been a big holder of real estate. But then what you discover is you don't have capital, right? You need to turn assets, and I'm starting to change my tune on this. As you know, we've been selling some of my stuff off,
right,
because you need to turn them over, take your profit, have capital, re-engage, redeploy. So, my conversation with you about this 2 years ago would be different from, maybe
Right.
where it is now. So we'll have to pencil it out
Yeah.
because I guarantee you you probably did. I think we had talked about that, and I probably told you not to sell.
yeah.
I did. Okay.
We did, and it's not listed.
Yeah,
So we'll put it that way.
So Yeah, we'll have to pencil it out because I'm changing my tune on that.
Yeah.
And part of that is just I'm continuing, as always, trying to learn and grow, and taking in input from people that have been here before and done it. And there's a lot of different schools of thought on this. I mean, I always say, you hear me say it, you find what you're looking for. So if I want to find somebody to tell me to hold, I can find that. If I want to find somebody to tell me to sell, I can find that. So I've got to balance it out, what works for me, what makes sense. And right now, trying to, especially where we are about to be in the real estate market, I think we're on the precipice of a real buying opportunity. It makes sense to maybe start selling some assets.
Right.
And that doesn't mean sell assets and then put the money in a lockbox somewhere, right?
Right.
For me, that's
Redeploy.
Redeploy.
Right away.
1031 take some profit, redeploy it tax free through a 1031 tax deferred exchange. But that's kind of where my head's at right now. And that might change again.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it changes based on where the market's at.
Well, and it's the
heart is
asset.
at,
It's the asset. Like there's one that plaza I've got in Durand, like for me, I want to redeploy money back in there and improve it, continue to improve that asset. And that to me is like a long-term family kind of hold. Like that's a generational potential plaza that it can hand down. Because
in my position, that's where I think at some point I'm going to start making that transition to where like I want to look at things that I want to hold forever, right? Sure. So I look at 5 years on that building and I'm like, in 5 years, am I going to need to refinance to do the roofs? Am I going to need to do additional brickwork or windows? Am I going to need to do these things that they add value, but they don't?
No, it's like putting tires on your car, man.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Like,
so it's
you need them, but they don't add any value.
Exactly.
What it does is it does help you get the value.
Right.
So, and what I mean by that is if you do put that asset up on the market, the buyer comes along and he starts discounting your price based on deferred maintenance. So if you don't, if you take good care of your buildings, you don't get discounted. All right, so we'll get pencil and paper out on that, Leo. We'll look at that. Oh yeah,
for sure.
We'll look at that.
I'll be leaning on you for sure.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's not mine, so I can just give you what I would think, and then you're getting savvy enough to do what you got to do.
But either way, I mean, shameless plug to the audience. This is the spot to get deals done, right? So when I say like I'm going to sit in here with Randy and pencil every part of this out. It's 100% true.
That's really going to happen. Yeah.
We do that multiple times a week where it's like,
sure.
hey man, I'm looking at this deal. I don't know if I can afford this asset, whatever the case may be.
And I say no more than I say yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've never told me yes on one that's failed, which
okay, that's
good.
a
good statistic.
Yeah, well, you've only got 6 for 6, yeah, and it's early.
Exactly. There might be some misses, but
nah, dude, you're young. I mean, you're late 20s, right?
Yep, 29.
Yeah, 29. You can actually take a couple punches to the gut and not even, it won't matter.
It'll wash out.
It'll wash out. Keep building. Yeah, absolutely. So what are you valuing right now? Like what are you looking at as your next potential?
So I want to go more units in one location for sure. Multifamily or mixed use. I will look at any mixed use still.
Yeah.
I love mixed use. It's in my wheelhouse. The retail leasing is something that I click on and I love doing.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking for that.
Have you looked at Ryan's 810 West Main?
Yes, I have.
All right, let's talk about that after this. All right. So secretly, not so much a secret, like we're evaluating that.
Right.
Ryan and I together are evaluating that. Not really in my wheelhouse right now, as far as like what I'm trying to do, like on a global level, like it's
right. Like you're already a little bigger than that.
Yeah.
Not to say
I'm not trying to be, just make your money where you spend your time.
Right.
I've spent my time on those smaller deals. I'm trying to spend my time and make my money on larger deals.
Right.
But that one seems to have promise. So we'll talk about that a little bit further.
I already have 2 garage tenants.
I think that's going to sell by the end of the day. We'll see. Yeah. So, hey, we're recruiting. I mean, if you think, this conversation happens on a daily basis around here, and if it intrigues you, quite frankly, come chat with me. or Leo. And if it's something that's a fit, man, we'd love to put you to work. And
If you call me, you get a free lunch out of it. Shameless plug.
if you call me, you got to buy the lunch. All right. Just kidding. Anyway, well, anything we're missing here, Leo? Cause I try to, I think it was Evan Lyons in one of my podcasts. He coined the phrase, not sure if he coined it. We'll give him the credit. Commuter Podcast. So we're trying to do this thing in like 20, 25 minutes. People can listen on their way to work, in the bathtub, because we all take long bubble baths.
Oh, yeah.
Commercial real estate. That's what you do. It's not what you do. Anyway,
Not
I
what
took
you
my
do?
first cold shower today, actually.
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
That's brutal.
Cold shower.
Bravo.
It was. It took me 3.5 to catch my breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I've been doing that in lieu of, I really want to buy a ice tank, one of the ice baths. And somebody told me, hey, before you do that, end every shower with like a minute and a half of cold water and just see how you feel.
So Alec Faber, I think, converted a chest freezer.
Oh,
Way
okay.
cheaper.
That is cheaper.
Way cheaper. Yeah, fill a chest freezer with ice, shut the lid. It's still there tomorrow.
Yeah, I know a guy that does the gallon jugs of water. He just puts them in his freezer, freezes them overnight, and then
chest
throws them
freezer's designed to keep the cold in.
in. Right.
So we did a challenge at the office here. A few of us did 75-day hard. Some of you may be familiar with it, but basically it's 75 days of 2 workouts. One's got to be outside, drink a gallon of water, read a book, read 10 pages a day, stick to a diet, take a progress pic. And those are the 5 tasks, right? Did I miss something? So Leo's got 11 days left.
13.
Well, by the time
13
this goes, you'll be done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be done. So Leo's done, just recently completed.
Congratulate
75.
me.
Yeah. So, yeah, as of recording, still a few more days. By the time you guys see this, he'll be done. I completed mine a couple weeks ago, and now I'm doing phase 1, which includes all those tasks plus 3 more, one of which is a cold shower. So that's why we were talking about that. I texted these guys early this morning. Him and Adam Bronson in the office are also doing the challenge. So I texted them my day 1 of phase 1 today. So anyway.
Yeah, we've been doing really well with it. I'm doing it with Dave Hood Jr. as well. We're both on the same day. I think combined we're down 50 pounds.
That's combined. I like that.
I'm 27. He's around 30.
You'll be 30, but that's 60 pounds combined, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Congrats. And you're getting fit.
Very. And my mental clarity is way better.
Yeah.
Really, it's just taking the time and doing the time management portion.
Healthy body, healthy mind.
Exactly.
Healthy finances.
And surrounding yourself with people like, again, we're in this office. Randy's really incurred a change with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, surrounding yourself with people that care about each other and really.
You know who just texted me this morning that finished?
Who?
Kevin Maurer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's thrilled. So I text him.
Shoot him a text.
Yeah, do it. That's awesome. Congrats, Kevin Maurer. So anyway, we got a little bit off topic, but not really. So with the idea of generational wealth and building something that can last, you also need to last. And part of that is your physical well-being. And so we encourage each other around here to stay fit and pump a little iron. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Do you even lift, bro?
Oh, of course.
You do. You absolutely lift. All right.
I could throw in a little plug, too, of something Randy told me that I think about. He told me this on the first day that I worked for him. He said, Leo, people who own things know things.
People who own things know things.
So if you want your financial health to be good, call some people that own things.
That's right. That's right. And I say that all the time. Like we're here to talk. Leo's here to talk. I'm here to talk. Everybody in our office, like that's what we do. We network. We build our network. We want to help people succeed. Leo's doing it. He's a prime example. He started 5 years ago, 6 years ago, has 6 properties of his own now and growing, continuing to evaluate new deals. He's going to take over this podcast in 5 years, and he'll be giving he'll be giving his tips. So, hey, with that, I'm going to wrap it, man. Leo, thanks for coming on. It's been fun catching up. Some of that stuff I forgot.
Oh yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. But I'm going to tell you what: if Leo can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah.
True.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. And do it means take action. Do that. Take action. Find something you want and take the action. Whether that's a phone call, just take that first step. That's what we're always trying to tell people to do, is to take a step in a direction, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then the next thing you know, your life will be different. And that's what we're here to help. So anyway, that's a wrap. This has been First Gen Wealth. I'm Randy Woodworth, your host. We're going to have a couple more episodes. We drop them every Wednesday at noon. So tune in next time. Not sure what the topic will be, but it's going to be awesome.